How can average working citizens like us, how can we reform our unjust financial system to erode the wealth and power of big banks, traditional corporations, and the super rich, and redistribute that wealth and power to average working citizens without relying on politicians or regulations? This is the question we ask on the Crowd Effect podcast. I am your host, Paul Lovejoy, activist, investment advisor, and founder of Stakeholder Enterprise. On today's show, I'm going to get personal. I'm going to start off with a story from when I was in sixth grade and 12 years old. And when I was in sixth grade, it wasn't middle school, it was the last year of grade school. So we had one teacher and a class full of 30 other students. And at sixth grade, I was an accomplished athlete. I was an all star soccer, basketball, baseball player, a standout swimmer. I picked up on subjects very quickly. I was able to learn math. I never struggled with school, got good grades. The problem is that I let everybody know this. I was not a humble a kid, a braggart, and definitely a big ego. And I remember my sixth grade teacher gave the class an assignment to write about what what we thought needed to change to make our class a better classroom. What would make our classroom better. So I remember, writing this. I don't remember exactly what I wrote, but the teacher was going to read out loud some of what the students wrote in the class. So she starts reading, and it was it was all about me, saying how was disruptive and not a team player. And I was the reason why the class uh, wasn't a good place to be in for this person. And I was like, whoa, gosh, that was a hard thing to hear. And so then she started to read the next uh, writing assignment from another student. And again, I was the problem. The these two people who wrote uh, this assignment were saying that I was the problem with the class. And and then the teacher didn't read anymore. We had a field trip afterwards, and I remember her saying something about how I needed to learn humility. Well, I was certainly humiliated. I don't think that being humiliated is a good way to learn humility. I was, it made me angry. I remember the bus ride to our field trip. I don't remember where we're going. I remember the bus ride, sitting by myself, kind of stewing and just being angry about it. And it was close to the end of the school year. Um, but I wasn't cooperative all of a sudden. Nothing like that. No real change. Instead, I probably dug in my heels deeper and made it was even a bigger pain in the ass in class. So, and it took me years, really. I was angry for years. It took me years to heal myself from this. I now look back at it as a traumatic moment in my life, to being called out like that in such a public way, and having such a big ego too. It hurt. Um, Now, I know I've been speaking about love recently, and I want to be humble about speaking with love. Um, And I, I, I'm not an authority on love. Yeah, I know I'm speaking about it. I'm defining it. I'm talking up the power of love. I wouldn't call myself an authority. A practitioner, absolutely. Definitely a practitioner. I've been, and I think most of us have been a practitioner of love for our whole life in some way. But I wasn't an active practitioner really until 2016, when I had hit rock bottom as far as having low self respect and self dignity. Um, and then that's when I started to practice uh, love, and really starts with self love. And when you love yourself, you're able to be gentle and forgiving when you're being honest with yourself. You're able to be honest with yourself when you really practice self love, and because you can be gentle and forgiving, you're able to be brutally honest, um, and that's really helpful, because I learned something about myself in 2016 that had a fundamental, monumental shift in my perception of life. Um, and because I was lying to myself, I was lying to myself, saying that, well, I don't care what other people think of me. I don't care what he thinks of me. I don't care what she thinks of me. I didn't care what anybody thought of me. This is what I would tell myself since I was a kid. I'd be telling I've certainly told myself on the school bus going to the field trip when I was in sixth grade, I don't care what they think of me. Lies. It's all lies. I was lying to myself. And I was able to be honest with myself finally when I started to practice self-love. And this monumental shift in thinking was that I do care what others think of me. I care what you think of me. I care. I can't help it. I care. When you start practicing love, you care. That's part of love. And so the big shift was caring what other people thought of me, but not being afraid of what others thought of me. That was the big monumental shift. That is the power of love, not being afraid of what other people think of you. And I think it's important to talk about love and the power in love because of our own unique moment in history. There's a lot of talk about the fourth industrial revolution happening right now. This is with regards to all the new technology that's happening so fast. I'm 47. I didn't have a cell phone in high school. That's unheard of now. All kind of things that are happening. AI, Chat GPT, is crazy. Um, the Internet of Things. Your refrigerator letting you know you're out of milk. Blockchain technology, crypto, all of this new technology, and I don't disagree that we are going through a fourth industrial revolution, but I think there's another revolution going on. Um, it's a behavioral revolution. Um, Human beings are changing their behavior. Uh, eh, Throughout history, if we could see that human beings' behavior hasn't really changed much. You hear stories about the Roman Empire and the greed and the envy that was going on then, and today you could even have similar stories about the greed and the envy. But there is an undeniable shift in our behavior. There is a push towards compassion and empathy. There is a push towards equality, to eliminating racism and sexism. ignorance. There is a big push now. I would say that in many cases it's an overcorrection of um, of trying to shift our behavior, and that has to do with a lot of shaming and humiliating people whose behavior may appear to be racist or sexist or um, unthoughtful, not compassionate, greedy, envious, jealousy. There is a lot of shaming and humiliating going on, and from my own personal experience, that is not the way uh, to help this behavioral revolution. It's only going to hurt it. Um, that's why I think it's so important to talk about the power of love, um, because the power of love, that should be the catalyst of this behavioral revolution. And if we are going to reform our unjust financial system, our behavior is going to need to change. And we need to inspire others to change their behavior. And you have no chance at inspiring someone when you're shaming or humiliating them. It just makes a person angry. It certainly made me angry. And so that's why I really am passionate about talking about the power of love and not afraid to talk about it, even though my past self would feel so uncomfortable. Oh, who's this cheesy guy talking about love? I'm not afraid if that's what you think of me. Not anymore. It's just too important to our future generations to live in an economy that looks out for the well-being of ourselves, each other, and our planet's finite resources, and that's not going to happen without the power of love. My name is Paul Lovejoy. Thanks for joining me. I am a crowd investor, and I see you are one too. If you'd like to learn more about how to reform our unjust financial system legally, ethically, and without confrontation, go to stakeholderenterprise.com.